Fanni Willis, day 2, the trial of the century. Oh, you know what? The best trial so far this year, 2024. Yesterday, Fanni Willis was on, and it was a ridiculous trial. Her testifying just went to show how she is the worst district attorney. Right now, they're on recess. The hearing is about to start. And what can anybody say? You know, she didn't get invited day 2 to come back and testify. She did a lot of damage yesterday. Just based on all the facts and everything she said yesterday. Number one, she should be disqualified from the case. You know, that means her entire office, so they should give it to somebody else. That's number one. Number two, she should be brought up on charges for lying to the court. They fight so much about telling the truth to the court, but then here she goes lying to the court. That's insane. And she is the first woman to be a district attorney. District attorney is the one, this is how I think about it, who brings all the charges, all the court cases against people. And she got to be an example to the community of how to behave, how to act. The way she acted was ridiculous yesterday. Embarrassing. See that lady right there? That lawyer was way more professional than her. One strategy that they did yesterday was just let her talk. The more she talked, it was like the more info she was giving the court and worse for her case. All right, I can't do anything, but let me see if I can post a comment. All right, my name is Noel, battling MS, trying to develop my channel at Verbal on Life. When you get a chance before the trial starts, go to youtube.com at Verbal on Life and subscribe. Yesterday I had one more subscriber. So shout out to the new subscriber. I'm up to 1,306 or 1,306 subscribers, trying to blow up my channel. Here, slowly but surely, just battling MS. And looking at this trial and thinking, wow, the district attorney is so corrupt and so ghetto. She makes DEI hire look bad. You know, she just checked those boxes. Like, I'm a woman and I'm black. After checking off those 2 boxes, she gets the job. I was supposed to taking a look at her. So incompetent. Let's take a look at this.
Yes, and Maria, here's what happened. We were live on our broadcast channel at the very, very top of the hearing. So we missed the part where the judge was interacting with the attorneys to talk about what was next in the case. So now that I've had time to review that, let me explain what has happened here. We were initially expecting District Attorney Fanni Willis to return to the witness stand because we were under the impression that the state would have its own questions for her under cross-examination. And that didn't happen. The state Representative Ms. Cross, who is with the district attorney's office, stood up at the very beginning of this hearing and told the judge, we have no further questions for Fanni Willis.
Oh.
So that's the end of that. She will not have to return to the stand. Everybody just knew that she would have time to explain herself, some of the questions that the defense attorney asked her yesterday. But now it's starting to make sense because if you'll recall, the district attorney, Fanni Willis, would often answer questions with an explanation, and that was beginning to annoy the judge. He said, answer the question, and then you can explain yourself. But in a lot of cases, so she got combative and would basically expand on the question even when she was not prompted to do so. So perhaps this has been the plan all along, for there to be no cross examination and for her to just try to explain herself as best she could on day one. Well, you have to consider that's not a bad strategy, because how awkward would it be for Anna Cross and the others on that prosecutorial team to have to question their boss about her personal romantic relationship with someone else who works on their very team? So that would have just been a very awkward thing to happen. So it makes sense that the state would waive any cross examination of Miss Wade.
That's so funny. Try to question her boss. That's insane. So they just said no question. They did what the boss said. The boss said, "You better not question me. I'm going to fire all you ladies." All right. Nos vemos ahorita. This is crazy.
Practicing law together, and he decided to take on the divorce case for Nathan Wade. And when he was asked specific questions about Ms. Willis, that is when he stopped answering questions. And he basically told the judge, look, I've been in touch with the bar, the Georgia Bar Association, and I've been instructed that I should not answer questions like this because it would violate attorney client privilege. Well, that kind of posed a concern. And so he ended up being told by the judge, look, you may be called later, but for now, your testimony has ended. So, sure enough, what has happened is the judge returned to the bench this morning and said, now that I've had time to review this, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to compel Terrence Bradley to answer questions that are outside attorney client privilege, things that he has observed, things that he knows to be fact. I will not allow him to answer questions that would violate attorney client privilege. So now we are waiting for Bradley to return to the courthouse. He's the only one left. The defense attorney, Michael Roman's attorney, Ashley Merchant, has no one else. She told the judge that is her last witness. That's the last person she wants to question. And so an attorney for him told the judge, Judge, Your Honor, he is at a doctor appointment right now. He's right in the middle of a doctor's appointment. The earliest he can get here is 10 or 10:30. So within the next hour, we should have a situation where Terrence Bradley walks back into the courtroom and continues his testimony. If he does not answer questions under the judge's order, the judge will have no choice but to hold him in contempt of court. And that would be a problem.
Yes.
So this is going to be very interesting to see how all of this plays out. Clearly, the defense and all the attorneys for Trump and the co-defendants would like to hear his testimony that the relationship between Fanni Willis and Nathan Wade happened before Wade was brought onto the case. That would show perhaps more impropriety. But as we were talking earlier, Maria, the situation here is looking pretty dark for the prosecution in the Trump case here because of all of this. And a lot of that has to do with the mere fact that I don't think anybody would disagree that Willis has made some serious misjudgments in this case. She has taken some missteps here.
Yep.
Now, whether she was trying to deceive anyone or take money that, from these vacations and that sort of thing, that's unclear. But surely this is going to be a situation where it just doesn't look good for Fanni Willis. So we'll send it back to you, but a lot to watch as this case continues to unfold.
Rebecca, thank you so much. And again, we will look to you for our Atlanta News First.
I didn't know that the guy or the people prosecuting was her staff. She's in charge of them. So that's why they didn't call her back. Maybe they had a meeting afterwards saying, hey, we're not going to do this. We're not going to call me back and try to prosecute me. Because if they do, she's their boss. She could fire them, one could say. The way she's acting all ghetto, the judge has got to rule. So you just heard they only got one more witnesses to bring in. They're going to bring in that witness, try to get questions out of him, or try to get answers out of him, asking him questions, which after that, he's going to lay down the law and let us know what he thinks. This is all about what the judge thinks. Is this a fair fight? Is everybody playing by the rules? I cannot believe that Fanni Willis decided to date one of her employees, to go on vacation 5 times to different islands. Insane. And then the guy paid him his money back in cash. What do we call that? That's like money laundering. To the viewers, to those who don't know, who are not lawyers, who don't know the law like that, just looking at what's happening, she got to be disbarred. After she's disbarred, the case got to be sent to a different district attorney office. Nobody in her office can take up this case. And then the other office got to decide if they want to put up charges or drop the charges. I think the charges are going to be dropped. This is all a hoax, in my opinion. And it's about to go down. It's a little bit sad that we're not going to get to see Willis again on the stand, because seeing Willis on the stand again yesterday was really, really entertaining.
Hearing, if you missed it, lasting several hours into the day, from 9:30 in the morning all the way to 5:15 today. Not expected to be as long, but still a very heated evidence hearing, as you can imagine, as attorneys continue to push their argument that there was a financial conflict of interest and ethical boundaries that were crossed that should ultimately disqualify Fulton County District Attorney Fanni Willis and Special Prosecutor Nathan Wade.
District Attorney talking about people following the rules of the law, and she just broke a bunch of them. A bunch of the rules of the law to benefit her. Dating a rich guy and paying him ridiculous sums of money. I think everybody watching can see it. It's like in plain sight. The judge is just, what is he doing? Just saying, keep repeating that they're just going to look at the evidence and decide. Wow. Again, this is the case of the century. 2024 is a crazy year. Write down in the comment section below, what do you think about this? What do you think should happen? And I'm just praying that the decision gets made today after 12. Because I'm thinking the guy's going to come in like around 10:30, testify. He's going to fight back to try not to say too much. And they're going to press him on it. They're going to press him on it. Eventually, they're going to just cave in, follow the law, and testify against Wade, or the district attorney. After that, they're going to take a lunch break from 12:15 to 1 o'clock. And at 1 o'clock, he's going to come and deliberate. Let us know what he thinks about this whole situation. Is it going to be extended to Monday, or is he going to let us know then and there his thoughts about the case? But looking at it from both sides, if he decides to not disqualify her, people are just going to be outraged. It's going to be a crazy, crazy, outrageous scandal. Like, how did he let that slide? So, in order to avoid that pushback, I think he's going to have to say that this case got to get dropped. He can't let this ride. Too much on the table. You know, we got the ex-president of the United States.
It's maybe some context to add to it, but does that overcome all of the rest of the incongruities? I don't think so. A lot of other ways to reimburse your lover. Knox is off to work. Go get him, Knox. Defense attorney in Texas heading into court for battle.
This is teaching us how to money launder, shows you cash is untraceable. Stand up for your rights because she's a black woman. That's why they're picking on her. And they're not picking on her because she's a black woman. It's one thing, the rhetoric that you want to spew or you want to talk about, the marketing, that, hey, I'm a black woman, single black woman dating, so therefore you should impress her. These are crazy times. I hope the judge just comes out and throw the book at her. Right now, they're waiting for the guy who's going to testify, the lawyer who's at a doctor's appointment. He's going to show up in a few and take the stand. It's going to be a fight. And we got to continue to watch this. Let me see what they're saying.
That Willis has acknowledged with Special Prosecutor Nathan Wade, and more about the motion filed by Michael Roman, one of Trump's attorneys in the RICO case, the out of Fulton County, that was filed on January 8th, and in which Michael Roman has claimed that both Fanni Willis and Nathan Wade have been engaged in an improper, clandestine personal relationship, as I'm reading directly off of the motion, during the pendency of this case. That has resulted in the special prosecutor, that's Nathan Wade, and in turn the district attorney, Fanni Willis, profiting significantly from this prosecution.
You know, all these people, they got state jobs, right? They're not making millions or $500,000, or they're not making a whole lot of money in comparison. If they were to do private practice, they could be making a lot of money. They could be millionaires. But when you take a state job, they make a good salary, but it's nothing compared to private practice, right? And she just took the state job and got all this money from them. She figured out how to do it, how to give it to Wade. And this is the big problem. Now you're stealing. When you're taking money from the state, you are stealing. So there's no other way of looking at this. The judge got to come out and just cancel this whole trial. Now, again, my name is Noel. I'm trying to build the channel here. I am battling multiple sclerosis. I am battling MS, doing my best, just following the cases while I still could talk, while I'm still here. There's my link, youtube.com/verbal-on-life. Just trying to be verbal. We up to 1,306 subscribers. Yesterday, we got one more. Woohoo! And we got to celebrate all the wins. So today I woke up with the win of one more subscriber. So you, please go ahead, go to that channel and subscribe. Help us out so I could keep bringing you guys good content. Really appreciate the support while we wait for the trial to start. And I give you guys my opinion. And all I'm going to say is at the end of the day, the judge had to come out and just call it quits. While we wait, here's Jesse Waters on Fox. I like listening to Jesse. He actually makes sense to me.
Hundreds of thousands of dollars, which he used to take her on romantic vacations, foreign and domestic, and didn't disclose the relationship to anyone and didn't report any of the gifts he gave her at all. When Fanni and her lover, Nathan Wade, were caught, they both lied to the court about when the relationship started, saying they started sleeping together after she hired him, and also claimed Fanni paid Wade back for all of the trips. But right as the hearing began, their entire defense blew up when an eyewitness, Fanni's longtime friend and employee, testified under oath that she saw Fanni and Wade going at it.
Did you observe them do things that are common among people having a romantic relationship?
Yes.
Yes.
Such as, can you give us an example?
Hugging, kissing, just affection.
All before November 1st of 2021, correct?
Yes.
That alone is grounds for Fanni's disqualification and destroys the hilarious display of some of the most preposterous lies and behavior that
It was crazy. The district attorney herself just walking in and taking the witness stand. No question, no nothing. Just walking in there like a boss. Like she runs that office. Like she runs that building.
have ever been displayed in Fulton County. Fanni's lover boy took the stand and immediately got Alzheimer's.
Did you go to a cabin with Miss Willis ever?
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 You know he's lying. Right there, he's lying. Not talking is lying. That's when he knew he messed up. Because the next lie is going to get him disbarred, and he's going to lose his license for lying to the court. You're supposed to be a participant, a lawyer who knows the rules. You know what you're supposed to do. You know it's all about truth seeking, but yet you're coming on board with lies.
No.
You've never gone to a cabin with Miss Willis?
No.
So Loverboy got off to a slow start. And then he admitted he was going over to Fanni's condo all the time before she hired him, but not for sex, for documents.
Isn't it true that you would go to Miss Willis's house in South Fulton County occasionally?
I've never gone to her house in South Fulton County.
You've never gone to her house in South
I've
Fulton
never
County?
seen her house.
You've never gone to a condo in either the East Point or Hapeville area with Miss Willis?
Wait, that's different. I have gone to a condo in Hapeville.
You would have been there, as you indicated, for many reasons, right?
Yes, Miss Yurdi resided there. Went to visit her. Maybe went to talk about a document that I received.
You would go to the condo to talk about a document that you received?
Absolutely.
Were any of the other attorneys visiting Fanni's condo, reviewing documents? No, just Wade. After Fanni paid $700,000 to prosecute Trump, Fanni and Wade traveled the world together. How did they pay for these romantic trips together? Wade put it on his corporate card. But don't worry, Fanni paid him back. They say, in more ways than one. Their story is Fanni reimbursed her lover with cash.
You said in the affidavit that you roughly shared travel, though, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So this roughly sharing travel, you're saying she reimbursed you.
She did.
And where did you deposit the money she reimbursed you?
Oh, it was cash. She didn't give me any checks.
And so all of the vacations that she took, she paid you cash for.
Yes, ma'am.
And you purchased all of these
That
vacations
is so
on your
sad.
business credit card, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Cash. How convenient. Now, I've met a lot of businessmen over the course of my career, and I've never encountered anybody who puts all of their romantic vacations on their corporate card and has their boss, who they're sleeping with, pay them back in cash and then deduct it as a business expense on their taxes. But Wade is a different breed. Wade says his law practice is mostly a cash business.
She was very emphatic and adamant about this
Emphatic.
independent, strong woman thing. So she demanded that she pay her own way.
Do you know the source of the cash?
Just that, out of her pocketbook. Yes.
You don't know where she obtained the cash.
I didn't ask her.
And the whole time that she was paying you in cash, you never said, hey, why do you have this amount of cash?
Why would Mr. Sadal, in my practice, people come into my law firm all the time with cash. I never question where they got it.
So the lawyer who's allegedly saving democracy by prosecuting a former president, an unprecedented case in the history of the United States, is a personal injury attorney who runs a law practice where clients regularly walk into his office with briefcases of cash, and he doesn't ask any questions.
Did you go to the ATM with her? No, sir. She didn't go to the ATM. She carried the cash.
Oh, and so she would give you the cash. Did you have a little place in your house where you just stack up all this cash that you apparently got to repay you for these benefits that you bestowed on her?
And Mr. Gillen, if I answered that, I'm putting myself in jeopardy. If I tell the world that I have cash someplace in my home, don't you think that could be problematic?
All right, so who in the world would tell the world that they have cash at their house? More on that later. Now, after Wade had been totally discredited, Fanni's attorneys tried to prevent Fanni from being called as a witness. When out of nowhere, Fanni rumbles into the courtroom in hot pink and demands to take the stand.
And then suddenly he's changing.
Whoa.
She files her financial
Oh, boy.
declarations.
Did you meet with Mr. Wade and talk?
You see Fanni Willis standing there with the other lawyers. That's her team. staring at her like, what the hell are you doing? Coming in court to testify. We told you not to, but yeah, you're coming.
Talk to him about the motion that I filed to disqualify you.
On January, this first January motion,
Yes.
I don't know if you could say talked about. I probably had some choice words about some of the things that you said that were dishonest within this motion. So I don't know that it was a conversation. As you know, Mr. Wade is a Southern gentleman.
Why is she talking like that? Like she's a diva. We are in court, lady. Who are you arguing with? Combating with another lawyer in court. Like, oh my God, this cannot be real. This is like straight out of a movie. She needs to be disqualified just based on the fact that she thinks she could talk like this. Like she hasn't been a lawyer for years. She's 54 years old. For a 54-year-old, you're acting different.
I mean, not so much.
For the next 2 hours, Fanni was a hot mess, flailing and filibustering.
I'm not on trial, no matter how hard you try to put me on trial. I'm not a hostile witness. I very much want to be.
Not so much that you're hostile, Ms. Willis, it'd be an adverse witness. Your interests are opposed to Ms. Merchant's.
Ms. Merchant's interests are contrary to democracy, Your Honor, not to mine.
Has he ever visited you at the place you laid your head?
So let's be clear, because you lied in this. Let me tell you which one you lied in. Right here. I think you lied right here. No. This is the truth, Judge. And it is a lie. It is a lie.
Now, after the judge admonished everybody, Fanni admitted she and Wade had been dining out together for years before she hired him.
Maybe I went to his office once or twice, but maybe once.
And the purpose for going to his office would have been what?
Maybe we would have went to Mellow Mushrooms for pizza, or maybe he would have come for lunch. I'm sure we went by each other's office, though, but not often, not a lot. We both grinded.
Oh, grinding. But they went to more than just Mellow Mushrooms. They went to Latin America, the Caribbean. And this was the part of the testimony where Fanni was able to exhibit her intellectual credentials, credentials that you'd expect the DA prosecuting the former president to have.
You also said that he was a world traveler and had been on many of the continents.
I've been to 6.
Have you been on any of those continents with him besides this one?
Where's Belize? What continent is that? I'm not being funny. I don't know.
Let's say with the exception of
Belize. With him. I've been to the Bahamas with him. I've been with Aruba with him. Don't embarrass me. I'm not sure what continents those are on. Whatever continents those are, that's where I've been.
Okay, Aruba's in South America, Belize is in North America. She sounds like she's on the streets getting quizzed by Johnny. They also went to Napa together. All of these trips going on Wade's business card. So what's Fanni paying for?
I paid for a bunch of stuff. I think we did 2 different wine tours that you do, which are pretty expensive. I think I bought him, he likes wine. I don't really like wine, to be honest with you. I like Grey Goose. I bought him a bottle of wine while we were there, and
God.
the sippings that you do, they would pair.
Why is she giving so much details of the stupidity that she did on her trip? Like that has nothing to do with why we're here. What's the whole point of this? Why are you testifying? You're talking like you're making a confession that we don't care about.
Champagne, chocolate, and caviar. It was a 3, and it was like 3 different things. Sweden, Russia, someplace else. I'll make that up. But that was the most expensive thing. That trip did not cost me a lot of money. I might have took like $750 in cash home because we weren't gone very long.
The Fulton County DA is eating caviar in Napa while she's prosecuting President Trump. And her boyfriend paid for the flights with taxpayer money. Where'd Fanni get all the cash from anyway?
I always have cash at the house. That has been, I don't know, all my life. If you're a woman and you go on a date with a man, you better have $200 in your pocket. So if that man acts up, you can go where you want to go.
Where did that cash originally come from? If it didn't come out of the bank?
Cash is fungible. We've had cash for years in my house.
The money that you paid Mr. Wade, the cash in October of 2022, you do not know where that money came from.
I do know where it came from. It came from my sweat and tears.
My pocket.
So the top law enforcement officer in Fulton County, Georgia, just announced to the world that she keeps stacks of cash at her house. And she carries wads of cash with her to Belize, wherever that is. So Fanni proves she's not street smart or book smart and can't show any ATM withdrawals to prove where she got the cash to pay back Wade. Now, Wade testified that he went to Fanni's condo to look at documents. Is that true? What else happened?
Yeah, I'm sure he came to visit. I can remember us going, I think the restaurant's Lickety Split. I can remember him picking me up, going to Lickety Split and ordering some food and coming and sitting at my table and eating. So I remember times that he visited me at that condo.
Ah, yes, Lickety Split.
Wow.
Gotta love that place. Rum raisin, rainbow sprinkles, the best. Now, at this point, the media had seen enough.
This is getting ugly and it's getting messy. And my guess is it's not going to get better.
It's about lying to the court. It's about potential financial gain on the part of Fanni Willis. The issue is that her credibility is shot. It's a horrible, horrible look for her. I think this case is dead in the water. Fanni Willis lied to the court. It's game over for her. She will be disqualified.
Probably a bad idea to have two sleazy, lying lovers waste taxpayer money on romantic vacations while prosecuting the president, and then concoct the most unbelievable cover-up in Georgia history. But what do you expect when the jury forewoman was a giggly Wiccan?
What would your reaction be if the DA decides against bringing any charges after what you've seen?
I will be sad if nothing happens. I will be frustrated if nothing happens.
And if it was just a perjury charge?
I will be happy as long as something happens.
These cartoon characters don't have the pedigree to be in the same courtroom as the former president. But remember, this isn't a Fanni and Loverboy scandal. It's a Biden scandal. The Loverboy, Fanni, Alvin Bragg, Jack Smith's team, and New York Attorney General Letitia James have all been meeting with Biden's White House counsel, Biden's Justice Department, or with Kamala Harris. The Biden White House is overseeing the prosecution of his political rival. But just like everything Biden oversees, it's falling apart. Click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page.
All right. You just heard the backstory to what's happening with District Attorney Fanni Willis. And the judge is going to decide whether the DA stays on the case. I think this is game over. He has more than enough evidence to just take out the district attorney. Because if he doesn't, think about it, if he doesn't take out the district attorney, that means there are no rules on the line. That means you could break the law left and right like the DHS did, and it's okay. That DEI hire, what is DEI? Diversity, equity, and inclusion. She just got hired for checking boxes, being a female, for checking boxes, being a female and being black. And she's not living up to her title. She's not living up to her name. Dating a subordinate or a person that works for her. Come on now. You're sending out so many negative messages. If you're ever going to get paid, if you want to get paid not to get traced, make it cash. That's a key way of not getting traced. So make payments cash, number one. Number two, don't get caught dating one of your subordinates or somebody who works for you. What else is he telling us? Number three, you don't have to report to the IRS how much you're getting refunded, because Wade didn't report how much he was getting funded to the IRS. So that's another case, another reason why they should go to court. And number three, she lied, he lied, they both lied and lied and lied to the court. So this kind of makes it okay to lie to the court. That's why she got to be disbarred. we got to make an example out of her. Courts have rules to play, and the only reason we agree with the courts is we believe in them. This is just going to discredit courts all across America. So she has to be disqualified. And that Trump case, Trump 2024, he definitely won.
All on its own, but watching this from a journalistic perspective, from being in Atlanta for so long, I mean, what comes to your mind?
Stunning. I mean, like most people, I think, that saw the testimony yesterday, they were glued to it. I was glued to it. It was actually difficult to kind of do what I needed to do yesterday. I was working on a completely different story, but was just enamored by what was going on.
Yeah.
I mean, this is really historic. I mean, it's historic in itself that a RICO case has been brought against a former president, and then now this, and this is just one big giant mess, quite honestly. I think it's really interesting that we heard the testimony, obviously, of the lead prosecutor, Nathan Wade, and then out of the blue, we weren't expecting the district attorney herself, Fanni Willis, to actually come into the courtroom, but I think she was so disturbed and upset by some of the things that have been said, she just marched into the courtroom and took the stand, asked to take the stand. She came in, she was visibly upset, frustrated, somewhat at times, I think I would say a little bit defensive, but yet she wanted to make a point. And
it's crazy because she works there. That's her office. Down a couple of doors down from where she works is the court. So it's like the judge and the district attorney both work for the state. They have the same boss.
You know, details about the personal relationship that, you know, it became center stage, I think, with a lot of the testimony yesterday. But at the end of the day, this is really all about whether the money that they received, that Nathan Wade received, obviously, to do his job, was used for them to go on lavish trips.
Follow the money.
And what their story is between Nathan Wade and Fanni Willis is that this money was reimbursed in cash. So what makes this interesting is there's really no proof.
None.
That's their story. They're sticking to it. One might argue, well, gosh, you know, if you were in a relationship, you guys were going on these trips and you're prosecuting a former president, you would want to have some sort of receipts or documentation to show that you did reimburse money and there was no use of these tax dollars. But at the same time, we're talking about cash, and it's very possible that, you know, she could have paid back the cash. And if she did pay back the cash, well, then it's this thing is not as big of a deal as one might think. And I think she continues with the case if that's true, but we just don't know. And that's what's so interesting about this, Maria. It's going to be a 50-50 call by the judge, I think, based on whether he believes their testimony.
It really is. I think we were talking to Atlanta.
Okay, if you're watching this show, comment below. What do you think? Should the district attorney stay on Trump case or should she be disqualified? All on you. Write down the comments below. What do you think? Should we get rid of her? In my opinion, I think she broke so many laws and just laughed in our faces by getting on stage and telling us everything that she did. And we are just expected to look at her action and think it was okay. When in reality, we all know that it was not okay for what she did. You know, you're not supposed to be dating somebody that works for you. You're not supposed to be having cash to hand out with no trace, no evidence that anybody got any money. Like, this case is so obvious to the viewers that the law is being broken, that this is a DEI hire. Somebody hired her just to check boxes. She checked off 2 boxes. 1, she's black. 2, DEI hire. 1, she's black, and 2, she's a woman. She is the first female district attorney to take up the office. So checking off the 2 boxes, getting hired off of that, I think it goes to show that we are making a mistake hiring people that are not qualified. You should not be hiring people based on their skin color. Period. I want to see people based on their qualifications, that they are good at their job. Here I am. Again, my name is Noel, battling MS. I can't do a job like a lawyer can, but I'm trying to do this YouTube thing. I'm up to 1,306 subscribers, looking for more subscribers. So if you haven't subscribed to the channel, go ahead and click on the subscribe button. Here's the link, youtube.com at Verbal on Life. I got 1,306 subscribers, trying to blow up. Now, it looks like they're waiting for the Mr. Radcliffe to come on to testify. He's the last person testifying. So hopefully the case will be settled by this afternoon. You know, the judge is going to take back all the evidence and look at it and make a decision today. So today should be a celebration of Trump 2024. And I'm always going to say Trump Vivek 2024. Because I'm praying to God every night before I go to bed. I pray that he picks Vivek and that Vivek figures out how to win people over, how to win the presidency. I think Vivek is a winner. He can do it. He just got to be given the green light.
I believe dating back to 2019. Am I right about that, Maria?
I do believe in her response to the motion filed by attorneys for Michael Roman. She quoted 2021, but they might have had met back in 2019.
I think that, you know, if you go back and listen to that, she talked about she felt like there was some relationship going on even prior to what the DA and the lead prosecutor had said about them, you know, having a relationship beginning around 2022. It's really critical because it's like we need to know whether, you know, there was some sort of preferential selection made by the district attorney with Nathan Wade based on their relationship. And so we have, you know, two different accounts there. So I think that, you know, these additional witnesses that may be able to kind of give us a better sense of how long this relationship had been going on and when it began will be very important for the judge to decide because it's a big factor in the overall decision as well. So it's going to be, I'm sure, some more interesting testimony that will.
Again, today, he already has enough to disqualify her. I think they're just getting more evidence to maybe send her to jail for lying to the court, for money laundering, and for what else? And all the lies. So lying to the court and money laundering. There's other lies in there that she threw, and all she did was ruin her career.
These characters, and I think we were talking to another attorney here in Atlanta, Suri Chada Jimenez, who said it's just good TV.
It certainly is
the best.
You know, and it's the classic. Although this is not like a criminal trial, you know, you think back to some of the big trials in history, and people stop what they're doing and they watch, and it's fascinating. And this has caught the attention not just of residents in Fulton County, the state of Georgia, but across the country. And obviously, with the use of social media platforms, it's everywhere. I mean, no matter where you go, the national network news, you know, is carrying this story, talking about it, dissecting it, and it's all over the social media platforms. It is the story across the country, and it's happening right here in Atlanta, Georgia, in a Fulton County courthouse.
So I gotta ask you, you've been really Atlanta's favorite community journalist. You've covered so many stories here locally. There's a profound uniqueness to what we're following today, but does this spark any memories for you?
Well, I have to say this. Back in 2021, I believe it was, when Fanni Willis was then running for district attorney, and we were still in the midst of COVID restrictions and things like that, I did an interview with her. And I did that via Zoom, and she was obviously, she's a politician, so she was running for this position in this seat. And she came across very sharp and kind of a bulldog, which is exactly what, you know, a district attorney needs to be. So I have to say, just from a personal standpoint, I'm a bit surprised by this turn of events in this particular case. I mean, this is, you know, no doubt in her career, really the biggest case. I mean, and it could be considered one of the biggest cases in American history against a former president. It's just unprecedented, right? So for this to all unfold,
she came off as so dumb. She really stuck to her title, a DEI hire, getting hired because of affirmative action, period. an unqualified individual who thought she knew better than everybody. Because that's another thing, when you think you know it all, that's the worst case scenario. People who know it all, we all know they know nothing. Among the dumbest people on earth are the know-it-alls. And you cannot argue with those people. You can't. They will go to the grave with their lies. Horrible, horrible situation. But it looks like they're all just waiting for that one individual, Mr. Radcliffe. They brought him in yesterday, but they're going to bring him in again today. And then after that, we're going to hear a verdict.
To go about it. But this is a significant hearing that is happening right now and can change the outcome of this case potentially. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, certainly. And I just want to play some of what we saw play out yesterday from the district attorney herself, some of her words and reactions to the line of questioning she was receiving during her testimony.
You think I'm on trial? These people are on trial for trying to steal an election in 2020. I'm not on trial, no matter how hard you try to put me on trial. But I didn't give him money out in a contract. What happened? No, we're going to answer it since you said it. He worked more hours than he was paid, and the county paid him for the work that he did. So don't be cute with me and then think that you're not going to get an answer. I don't need anybody to foot my bills. The only man who's ever foot my bills completely is my daddy.
So again, some sharp responses and again, fiery testimony from Fulton County District Attorney Fanni Willis. We were all glued in here at the newsroom to all this. I mean, it was hard not to watch every single moment as it happened over the course of several hours. Just talking a little bit about her response. Of course, she is defending this allegation that she misused taxpayer funds, that she had crossed ethical boundaries in her relationship that she has acknowledged happened with Nathan Wade. But she is standing firm in saying that at no point was she unethical or had misused those funds. The only thing that had happened was that there was a personal relationship, which is not illegal or grounds in her mind for disqualification.
Well, this is, obviously has serious implications for the RICO case that her team, her DA squad is working on. But it's also this hearing, has an impact on her credibility.